Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silk City Films Podcast. I'm so glad to be coming to you guys this morning from the world-famous ANJ Studios located here in historic Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. I hope you're all having just the absolute best and fantastic day. Of course, Silk City Films Podcast is brought to you by estate planning attorney Rebecca Ecker, United X, Pizza One Italian Kitchen, and Officially Social. And of course, Officially Social is a company that helps businesses to market and to promote themselves, and they also help small businesses make sense of the wild, wild west that we like to refer to as online marketing. Officially Social has been managing content for their clients since 2018. They do a fantastic job. How do I know? Well, because I'm a client myself. And today, my guest, she's the president and founder of Officially Social. She's also a freelance writer, a blogger, editor, public speaker. I'd like to welcome to the Silk City Podcast today, Alison Lukin. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have you. It's really all my pleasure. First and foremost, though, before we start getting into Officially Social and the film and all these things, the past couple days, have been insane around here. Like here in Pompton Lakes, the sightings have been rampant. It seems like something's about to happen, right? And maybe, maybe about
always something's
I don't
about
know.
to happen?
I don't know, but
like
by the
that's how
time
it
we
is these
release this, I don't know, like if we'll even know what's going on. But there's drones flying all over the place. What do you think of this?
It could be a number of things. I always say truth is stranger than fiction. And with how things have been going for the past several years, I mean, if you asked me 10 years ago, I would have been like, no, it's somebody, it's just got to be just someone messing around but with the way things have gone and the things that I would have thought in the past were unbelievable that have proven to be very true, who knows? It could be anything.
So let me ask you, because to me, there's really three options that are going on around us. And I feel like there's definitely something happening.
Okay.
I've also, just as a matter of an aside, I've not been able to confirm that these are actually drones, because
That's what I'm thinking too. How sure are they if they don't actually have one?
Yeah, and you got to figure, like, wouldn't the government just be able to swoop in and like blow them out of the sky or like follow them back to where they came from?
Right?
You would hope, right? So it's one of three things is what I think. And option number one, I'd like to know what you think. Option A, it's aliens visiting from a faraway galaxy.
Okay.
That's the first one. B, is it Russians or some other foreign entity which is scoping the place out and the other shoe is about to drop on us, in which case that's kind of terrifying, because I feel like we're unprotected. I feel like you could just send drones, right? And then the third option, C, is it our own government doing what our own government does best? I mean, let's face it, we know that they basically scare the bejesus out of everybody.
They've gotten good at that.
They're really great at it. What say you? What do you think would be what would you choose to be your option?
Well, listen, if it is aliens, right, this is definitely not the first time they've been here. It's not like, oh my gosh, 2024 going into 2025, they're finally here. Guess what? If aliens exist, they have always been here. They have mingled among us somehow. So I'm not really so concerned about like some imminent alien invasion, because I really don't think it's anything new. And we've been okay so far, right? Well, I mean, like you hear the random stories, like there's that woman, the poor woman on the Netflix documentary that full on has been abducted like multiple times. Like I definitely don't want to be her for sure. But then as far as either a foreign country or our own government spying on us, I mean, it very well could be. Obviously, we're at a really huge turning point in our country, right now. So, I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
It definitely could be. I mean, between what's happened in the past 5 years to know the involvement in, our government and whatever else, it could be. I mean, it absolutely could be. Somebody's watching us. We could say that with certainty.
What's your guess? Which one is it?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, it definitely could be aliens, right? But drones, I mean, I'm going to say it's someone watching us, whether it's a foreign country or our government. That's probably what it is. Because aliens have been here all along. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden now, did they just get like a new fleet of spaceships that they're showing off? Highly unlikely.
Well, if they have drones, then they have the same technological plane as we're on. And so that's really not that scary.
So
we have drones too.
One thing that makes it a little suspicious to me is like, okay, why can't they just follow it with a helicopter or, one of our own planes until it lands? Because it does have to land eventually. So what do they just like hang out for a half hour and say, I'm going to give up? I mean, I'd say this is a pretty big deal and not worthy of giving up.
It certainly smacks of the government being involved.
That's what I'm going to say.
And that I would agree with you. Matter of fact, between you and me and all of our listeners and watchers, I prefer that. If
to
it's
aliens?
To aliens or to a Russian adversary.
Have probably always been here. So whether it's aliens or not aliens,
whatever. But what's got to scare you about that is that, now the activity's picked up and, something's about to happen, right? Like that's kind of terrifying. And then on the other hand is the foreign adversary, aspect of it. That would be really terrible. The rumor is that this is kind of what happened in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Before the war started. So, all right, enough about aliens. Alison told me off air that, she's a big believer in aliens. So.
I am not.
All right, I'm just kidding. I'm lying. I like to embellish things. Okay, so how did you get into the business? Listen, social media is like one of those things that it's mystifying to people.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times they feel it's like the person who wants to paint their house or like a photographer, just because you buy the best equipment
right.
as a photographer doesn't mean that you're going to take the best pictures, right? It takes the eye, it takes the knowledge, the settings, all these type of things. And the first thing seems like people will say to themselves, I'm going to do my own social media, right? How often do you hear that?
All the time.
Yeah. So, but it's almost impossible because what they run into is what I call the dirty C word. Content.
Don't say it too loud.
How'd you get in the business?
So originally a musician. I quickly in my 20s segued into music journalism, doing concert reviews and interviews. Realized that I was pretty good at writing, went into writing website copy and blogging and writing bios professionally. And at the time, social media was just starting to pick up for businesses. It was just starting to become a thing. I'm going to date myself a little bit. So telling a story was always something that I was always pretty good at. I've been a really avid reader my entire life. I was the nerd as a child that would like win the award for reading the most books, like during the summer reading program from the library. That was me. So stories, writing, that was always, I guess you could say, a talent of mine. So when it came to social media, I always loved telling the story of a company. Getting to know them really well, finding out what makes them tick. And then also as a follower, I was always really keen on putting myself in the shoes of a follower and saying to myself, what does that person need to know to feel comfortable with doing business with this, company? Or what's going to make me choose them over somebody else? What do they have? What's special about them? And also, there's always so many roadblocks when it comes to choosing a company to do business with. So let's remove those. How do we remove any of that doubt? How do we remove any of, the hesitancy? So, and making it interesting and making it exciting at the same time, because when people try and do social media for themselves, which they often do, 90% of the time, it's just self-promotion. And I always say, no one finds your business as interesting as you do. So those followers that are always looking at your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed, if they're just seeing promotion after promotion after, tell me something new, tell me something interesting. Why should I want to do business with you? So we try and break through that for people.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. When I use Officially Social, what can I expect to be the biggest difference between, say, you and what seems like the other 8,132 other agencies that say they, quote, do social media?
Right. Well, social media is really our specialty. We don't build websites. We just work on content. We consider ourselves content creators first and foremost. And we work one-on-one with small businesses. We really get to know you. We get to know what your customers need. We also help you build relationships. So when we're out there and we're doing engagement for you, which not every company does, most agencies just post. And they're not going in and they're not seeing what your followers are posting and liking that and commenting on that. We do all of that very purposefully. So we ask a business owner, what other accounts do you want to build a relationship with? What would be advantageous to your business? And when we go in and do engagement, that's who we focus on. So if they see, hey, ABC company is always commenting or liking my content. So now when I scroll through and I see they've posted something, I'm going to engage with them. Then when ABC company wants to reach out and do a business deal, it's not such a cold introduction. They're already familiar with the name. They see the interaction and the interest already. So we try and form those relationships for people.
It's mystifying. And, guys, I'm a client as well of Alison's, and she does the social media for Silk City Films. And I know that it's a vastly different thing than I thought it was before I really met you. So even if you think that you know social media, right, you probably don't.
And well, the other important thing is that you're busy running your business. Social media is a big job to do properly. And that's not what you want to be doing as a business owner.
Do you do your own payroll?
Hopefully not.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I totally agree. So, all right, let me switch subjects for a minute.
Sure.
You're actually an actor as well. Maybe people at home don't know this, but she's going to be making her acting debut on December 27th in the upcoming release of the docu-film that everybody has been waiting for and talking about, Friendly, Tolerable Characters of Pompton. Tell us about your role. And tell us what it was like being cast and actually having to play a part and be on camera.
It was a lot of fun. You made me feel extremely comfortable in front of the camera. I'm going to say I'm not actually an actor. I try to be.
You just play one on TV?
I just play one on TV. But no, it was a really great experience. Obviously, I am, a big supporter of local New Jersey. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. I love working with local businesses. So anytime that I can, and New Jersey sometimes has a bad rap, which is really annoying. Because if you come here and you see what it's really like here, it's an amazing state. I absolutely love New Jersey and I wouldn't live anywhere else. So to be able to come and participate and support, a place that I really love was great. My role in the film was I got to highlight the fact that Pompton Lakes was really the home of the first aid squad, first ambulance.
Yes.
So that's super interesting. That's great. I mean, who would know?
As it is, I would know.
There you go.
I did the research, and Joe Lewis got word at one point where there was an accident, and the gentleman who was in the accident was waiting for an ambulance that had to come from Patterson.
There was an accident, in town, and they were waiting for one of the ambulances from a hospital, and that takes a long time. And unfortunately, the guy didn't make it. And Joe said, we can't have this happen in our town. So he started staging exhibition fights so they can raise enough money so the town can buy an ambulance. And that was the first one in the area, which made all the other towns follow suit because everybody needs one, right?
Joe Lewis was very much a part of the community in Pompton Lakes. I mean, even though he was the heavyweight champion of the world, and even though like people may go to a place here and there, they might use the deli there, whatever, they don't get involved in the community, right? They send their money back home. But this was a different thing. Joe Lewis, this guy lived and breathed Pompton Lakes. He was here for 20 years. He's walking around like he owned the place. So, when he got word that this happened, he did not rest until he got the money to fund the first ambulance. There it is right there on the screen. And that in turn became the first aid squad in New Jersey, which is amazing. And that's why they call it the Mother Squad. And that's part of the movie, Friendly, Tolerable Characters of Pompton. Okay, so we're going to be back in a minute. We're going to take a break. Basically, when we get back, okay, we're going to learn something from Alison about her own personal island. And folks, that's a teaser. We'll be right back.
And I don't really have to worry about what anybody's thinking. And I don't have to be held back by their phone.
So how do you achieve the best social media return on your investment? It might actually be the best kept secret in northern New Jersey. It's Officially Social. We've been happy with their results, and we would recommend them for your small or medium-sized business. Alison and her team will take great care of you and your business. Great client care and a great sense of what works online to earn new customers. Reach out to Alison and her team today at www.officiallysocial.com. Do you have all your planning documents in order? Of course, I'm speaking of your will, your power of attorney, your advance directive. If not, you need to call Rebecca Eckert. She's an estate planning attorney located in Butler, New Jersey. Go ahead, get a pen, take this number down, 973-224-1652. You can either call her or text her at that number again, 973-224-1652. Okay, we're back on the Silk City Films podcast, brought to you by Pizza One, Rebecca Eckert, United X, and of course, Officially Social, whom we are extremely excited to work with. So, Alison.
Yes.
Introduce us to the island theory.
So the island theory is something that I came up with. I've actually lived by the island theory most of my adult life. I've always been a person who can set boundaries and really detach myself from people's opinions that don't really matter to me. I heard a quote that says, supposedly Winston Churchill said it, but there's really no proof that he said it. So allegedly Winston Churchill said, when you're in your 20s, you care what everybody thinks. When you're in your 40s, you stop caring what everybody thinks. And when you're in your 60s, you realize no one was really thinking of you in the first place. So when you think in your daily life, how many people do you think of outside of your immediate people? Not really. You're really just concentrating on your own immediate people. And that's how much other people are not thinking of you as well. So as far as the island goes, I've always thought of myself as living on my own island, right? And there are certain tiers. In fact, I have 6 tiers of ways that you can inhabit my island. So number 1 are the permanent residents. Those are my absolute closest people. And those are the only people in my life whose thoughts and opinions influence my decisions, because my decisions influence their lives and vice versa. So for me, my husband and my kids are the absolute only permanent residents on my island. And then the tiers go down. Then you have someone who can own a vacation home, rent an Airbnb, stay in a hotel. We have our day trippers that are only allowed to visit for the day. And then you have your people that are only allowed to swim on the island, swim around the island, but they're not actually allowed to come on. So you can kind of take different people in your life and fit them into different categories as you see fit. And it doesn't mean, though, if you're not a permanent resident, that I care about every single person on my island, whether you're a permanent resident or not. You touch my island, I care about you. And you've been important to me. But when it comes down to making a decision or putting myself out there, I think to myself, are my permanent residents okay with this? And if the answer is yes, then it's a go. I'm not worrying about what any of those other people are thinking. And if someone who's not a permanent resident is giving a negative opinion about something that I'm doing, doesn't matter, because my permanent residents are cool. So it's just a way of setting boundaries, blocking out the noise, because especially in today's day of social media, everyone has access to you. And everyone can say something. Everyone has the opportunity to say something. And those keyboard warriors are back there, and they don't have to look at you face to face. So everyone's a lot more brazen with their opinions. So you have to have your boundaries set in a healthy way.
No doubt about it. And since the island theory and you use it, what about the people in your life who have crossed these boundaries in the past? Like, how do you handle these things?
Well, obviously, I have feelings. So here and there, things have happened where I've thought to myself, well, wow, that person's disapproving of something that I'm doing. But then again, I ask myself, are they really in my inner circle? Are they someone that I seriously care about? Or are they someone that I would take advice from? A lot of the times, that answer is no. So if I won't take advice from you, then I certainly am not going to let your opinion influence what I'm doing. So I always ask myself those kinds of questions.
And that's, of course, how you deploy the island theory when you're making decisions. Just say, first of all, I don't even want to ask where I where I live on your island. Hopefully I live on the island somewhere.
Yeah, you're definitely allowed on the island. You're good.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You could get kicked off, so you have to be careful.
Right, and I have to mind my manners while I'm there. And,
Yes.
all of those things that illustrate the point, they illustrate it really well. And I feel like, Alison, as a successful business owner, you're able to absolutely set those boundaries. When you don't set them, that's when you lose control of everything. And, one of the best things is being able to illustrate this point to people. And,
Sure.
Alison does a great job in her public speaking. She has a talk that she does on the island theory. So I urge you guys to go check that out. Okay, so I want to get back to friendly, tolerable characters for a moment. I want to pick your brain a little bit on a few things. Is that okay?
Got it.
Okay, first of all, the theme of the film is really about change, right? And we're in a place right now in Pompton Plains, but right across the street there was a hardware store called Jones's Hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did the film here in Pompton Plains in Pequannock, it's called Before a Nation, by the way, the story of Pequannock. You can find it on YouTube for free. We find that the people did not handle the change well. Mm-hmm. It made them lose their mind. So basically they were taking this hardware store down, and the bank bought it, Chase Bank, and people were crazy. They were walking around. They had picket signs. They were protesting and all kinds of stuff. Social media was ablaze. Okay. And really what it came what it came down to is that really nobody likes change, but some people have a very interesting opinion about change. What is your opinion about change?
I actually love change. Change is something that is inevitable and that you actually have no control over. And change is something that happens for the good things in your life along with the bad things in your life. Nothing stays good forever. And no good always stays the same. You get good in different ways throughout your life, which is what I think makes life exciting. And really nothing stays bad forever. Nothing does. So this change, this evolution that our lives are always going through, I say welcome it because it's exciting. I mean, and I see the same thing. Like in my town, I live in Boonton Township, which I love. Shout out to Boonton Township. And different things have happened in our town where you do see the older generation are the ones that are typically voicing the very loud opinion against change. But a lot of times I say to myself, just let it happen. Just let it roll out and see, maybe it's not going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. They start with petitions and they don't want this to happen. And just let life unfold, because I bet you it's not going to be that bad. I mean, yes, when you see injustices happening and something that you really, does not align with your beliefs, yes, speak up. But sometimes you have to just let life happen because change is inevitable.
Really, what they said in the film, the person who knocked down the hardware store, the guy who actually ran the backhoe that did the destruction of it, he had the quote of the film, and the quote of the film was, "Change is the only constant in this life."
The only other constant is laundry.
And taxes too. And laundry too. Yes, you're right. You're right. No doubt about it. So next question for you about this is this. What to you, because folks, when we tell people the name friendly, tolerable characters, they get this quizzical look. They don't know what the heck you're talking about, right? But for me, it's a genius name because when you hear it for the first time, you do have that reaction. It kind of hits you in the side of the head. You're like, what the hell does that even mean?
Right.
And then when you hear it again at some other time, you instantly recognize it. And that right there to me is one-on-one genius marketing. Mm-hmm. Thank you. But I didn't name it. The name came from the 1957 film Our Town that was made about Pompton Lakes, and it was mentioned by the 1957 narrator in that film.
Yes, this is it. The place they call home and from time to time leave it for elsewhere. This is home sweet home to us. They say every town has its main street. Well, this is ours. We built it with civic pride and remain proud of its dignity and friendly, tolerable characters.
Mm-hmm.
So people ask me all the time, what is a friendly, tolerable character? What the hell are you talking about, Paul? So I would like to ask you, in your opinion, what constitutes a friendly, tolerable character?
In my brain, that I'm breaking up each word, right? Friendly. Friendly is someone that I'm going to like. Okay. Tolerable means that I'm going to like you, but just enough.
Okay.
But maybe it's because you have some sort of interesting quirk or something about you that maybe makes you just tolerable, but it's okay. Character, I love characters. The weirder, the better. That just means you're really being your authentic self. So a character is someone that really just lets it all hang out and they're being their authentic selves. So that makes me like you more. So I don't know. I break up the 3 words in my mind, and that is, I guess, what a friendly, tolerable character means to me. It sounds like someone I would like because they're interesting.
So friendly, tolerable character, good or bad?
Good.
I think
For
good.
sure.
I think good too. That's my opinion of it. I in making the film, I've met so many people in Pompton Lakes who are friendly, tolerable characters. Right. And while I'm talking to them, I'm realizing that this is somebody who would like hold the door for me. Like this is somebody who would. One of my biggest pet peeves in life is when in Jersey they don't let you like go in front of you, right? But when you let somebody go in front of you, you're like, hey, where is that social contract where you wave back at me and you give me the salute or you say thank you or whatever? Like they just keep going, right? So for me, a friendly, tolerable character lets you go. And when you let a friendly, tolerable character go, they wave back and sometimes they give you the peace sign.
Right.
Right, or something.
But a tolerable character, again, to me is like, they have to have some little quirk that makes them interesting.
Which also makes every community out there is a tapestry.
Oh, sure.
Of the collection and aggregate of the characters that inhabit that place. And there's no doubt about it. You have Smitty, who's the recycling coordinator over there. He's a friendly, tolerable character. You have Denise at the Elks Lodge. She's a friendly, tolerable character. These are all people that they're very recognizable, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, especially when people have lived in a town their entire lives, there's a reason why they're there. And they've cultivated a lifetime of stories and interesting things that have happened to them. And, they could point to a certain building and say, when I was a kid, it was this, and this is what's happened throughout my lifetime. And that's where you find really the best stories.
Absolutely. And again, just to mention, Alison's in the film Friendly, Tolerable Characters of Pompton, but she hasn't seen any of it yet.
No.
Would you like to see some of it? I have a preview here. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Andrew, cue this up, my friend. This is a scene and a preview from Friendly, Tolerable Characters of Pompton.
Things have changed around here, Joe. Might not recognize the place. Remember when we used to meet in that empty lot down off Main Street? I'll set 'em up, you knock 'em down, just like we did when we were young. I'll set 'em up, you knock 'em down, just like we did when we were young.
So the British leaders send Schuyler back to the Pompton Valley to negotiate with the Indians for the rights to the land.
The Pompton land was again mutiny 2 weeks after the unifying.
It's the same town you loved back then. Nothing stays the same, even you have gone away. Faces and names might change, but the lakes remain. The lakes remain. That hasn't been an empty lot for years. That hasn't been like we did when we were young.
I said, Mr. Patterson, nice to meet you. I want to let you know I'm from Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. He went, oh, Pompton Lakes. I remember Pompton Lakes. I used to go there when Joe Louis was training.
Completed as a one-room farmhouse in 1695, the homestead was eventually passed from Orange Schuyler all the way down to his granddaughter, Hester Schuyler.
One of them of note that you definitely would know is Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson trained here for a couple of years. Sugar Ray Robinson was walking around the streets of Pompton Lakes like he owned the place.
And she hollered to Joe, hey, Joseph, it's cold out. Put on a jacket.
I'll set 'em up, you knock 'em down. Just like we did when we were young. I'll set 'em up, you knock 'em down. Just like we did when we were young.
Both of them fight, but as the men clinch, Joe Louis tries to get over two hard lefts, and Max ties him up in the breakaway clean. On the far side of the ring now, Max with his back to the rope, and Louis hooks a left to Max's head quickly, and shoots over a hard right to Max's head. Louis, a left to Max's jaw, a right to his head. Max shoots a hard right to Louis. Louis with the old 1-2. The first the left and then the right. He's landed more blows in this one round than he landed in a 5 round.
All right, so we're back. What'd you think of that?
It was so great. I'm so proud to be a part of it. I mean, interesting. It just brings forth so many stories that you would not have known about otherwise. You would think, small New Jersey town, there's not much going on, but you've really proven the opposite. I can't wait for everyone to see it.
You know what? It's really funny that you mentioned that. It is a giant rabbit hole. Maria Kent, who's a councilwoman in Pompton Lakes, she was the one who, basically was after me for quite some time to do this film. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, full transparency, I wasn't sold on doing it. I didn't think there was enough history. And boy, was I goddamn wrong. As my reference to Suits there. There's so much history in Pompton Lakes.
Sure.
It's really a town of firsts. Mm-hmm. It's a borough, actually. And one of the other firsts, it's the home and the beginning of the United States Secret Service. It's the home in the beginning. The first traces of the United States space program can be traced all the way back to Pompton Lakes. Not only did Joe Louis, the heavyweight fighter, train here in Pompton Lakes, but Pompton Lakes in 1780 and 1781, wrap your mind around this, was the headquarters of General George Washington's Continental Army. Pompton Lakes was.
Right. And you'll see that a lot around New Jersey.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, but everybody says that everybody has this thing like, hey, George Washington stayed here or whatever, right? But in Pompton Lakes, George Washington really did. And not just once, but twice. And like I tell people all the time, George Washington was a savage.
If it's good enough for George, I mean, come on.
This guy was a savage. And everybody's like, oh, he stayed around. But the second time he came to Pompton Lakes, and this is one of the things that many, many towns cannot say, whether they can say that he was there or not, he brought Martha with him. Martha Washington stayed.
You don't bring your wife somewhere that's not worth going
to. Exactly.
Because who wants to hear that?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'd give my husband an earful for taking me somewhere that wasn't good.
Well, it was the Little Yellow Tavern that he took her to, and it's the site where the monument and the Liberty Bell in Pompton Lakes is right now. So, folks, December 27th. 3:30 p.m., the red carpet opens. This is a free event for the community. Take your whole family, walk the red carpet, take a photo op with the paparazzi, be interviewed by film star Shelley Williams. She's the star, one of the stars of the film.
I love Shelley.
We all love Shelley, and she's going to be on there interviewing you as a red carpet guest.
Listen, if Shelley's going to interview you, it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be awesome. Then you're going to go into the place, and there's going to be all kinds of community vendors and everything, and some of the sponsors that have really helped to bring this film to the community, and really we couldn't do it without them. And Alison is one of those as well. So come down, meet Alison, see her on the film, and just bask. Okay, bask in the glow okay, of your town on the big screen.
Awesome.
Friendly, tolerable characters of Pompton. Okay, so I have more questions for you. You could stick around for a few minutes while we do a little work with our sponsors. Okay, so when we get back, we're going to learn about Officially Social's plans for world domination in 2025. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back with Alison Lukin, back on the Silk City Films podcast. She's president, founder, blogger, actor, evil genius. So, all right, Alison, it's the end of the year.
Yes.
That went fast. That
It
was
always
like,
does, I feel like.
It's so fast. Tell us what the plans for world domination for Officially Social is in 2025.
Businesses have changed a lot over the past several years, the needs of businesses and their approach. And we've spent a lot of time over, especially the past 2 years, really learning and adjusting. And we've really gotten into like a nice groove with businesses. We've refined our services. We're adding some new, really exciting services in 2025. So I really look forward to getting out there and talking to more business owners and showing them that social media is not scary, that it's actually fun, and it could do some really, really great things for their business. And I hope in 2025 to continue to bring my enthusiasm to other businesses and to really show them what we could do, not only for us to take things to the next level, but to take things to the next level for all these small business owners.
You know, I wish you all the luck in the world because I know what kind of a business person you are. Folks, if you don't know, she's the most friendly person that you ever met.
Oh, thank you.
When you talk to her, it's like a ray of sunshine.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Right. And not only that, but normally you don't get the ray of sunshine and the good business sense all in the same package. And she's the total package. So you have to go to Officially Social. You have to give them your social media. And I promise that that will move the needle. She has friendly staff that work. Haley is my account representative and does most of the posting for me. But I can call Alison whenever I'd like. She has assured me that I can call at 2 a.m. or at 5:30 in the morning.
I answer. I'm a night owl.
What do you mean you won't answer?
I'm a night owl, not an early bird.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
Yes.
I have a theory. You have the island theory.
Okay.
I have a theory of my own.
Great.
And this theory is that, first of all, maybe the viewers don't know, but I had like this diabetic episode maybe like 6 months ago, 5 months ago. It was terrible. Basically, I was in like a coma. And part of the reason that I was in this medical state was because I eat too much sugar and stuff. And one of those culprits is every other day or every single day, I would go to Rita's.
Oh, ice.
And I would get the Rita's ice, but I would get like the gelati. With the vanilla and the black cherry ice, right? And so I would get it, right? And I'd be eating it. And then I would get like to the end, right? And then like I would actually get like a tear in my eye. And it would like fall down like here. You know why? Because it was done. It was over. And I'm looking in the cup and there's no more left. And that's kind of how I feel about this interview.
Aw.
Listen, before you go, anything going on at the business that you'd like to tell us about?
Absolutely. I mean, we're always refining and adding services all the time, according to the needs of our business, small business owners that we love. So visit us at officiallysocial.com. You can always see what new things we're doing. And also, I'm a huge Instagram fan. So you can follow Officially Social at The Real Officially Social on Instagram. And also my own personal is at Alison Lukin, where you can follow my writing career and other professional goings on for me.
Once again, thank my guest, Alison Lukin from Officially Social. I want to also thank our sponsors, the Silk City Films Podcast, Pizza One. They have 3 great locations, Haskell, Wayne, and Sparta. United X, estate planning attorney Rebecca Eckert, and of course, Officially Social, and the founder and our guest on today's show, Alison Lukin. Leaving you from A&J Studios here in historic Pompton Plains, New Jersey. I'm Paul Bastante. I'm your host. See you next time.